On our way to the concert, she asks, "Are you happy?" Before I could talk, intuition speaks up for me. If you want to break up, just say it. A silence that said yes, louder than she's ever spoken to me, quiets the engine. Defense mechanisms help tune out the rest of what she's saying. A tune louder than that told me to pull over. My heart is going well over the speed limit, but I know my car isn't. Not surprised, just not in the mood. Comply in a tone that reflects my intentions. Try not to mirror reality. He speaks as if he knows me. Ask about a tattoo on my neck. Sir, that is a birthmark. Ask about affiliations to cities I don't belong to. Sir, I'm just passing through. Ask if there's anything in this car he needs to know about. Yes. People you know nothing about. I try to control my face. I can feel my attitude in my eyebrow. Her HBCU is kicking in. She's not gonna let me get a ticket. She's about to fight for a man that's no longer hers. The second time today, she's trying to free me. Now he orders me out the car. It's 30 minutes into the concert. Another car pulls up. Her bladder is full. She asks politely, can she use the restroom? Request denied. Her period isn't taking the back seat. Her shotgun mouth fires off a fury of words. Her finger at his face. His hand clenching his gun. You gonna let me use the restroom or am I being detained? Then I'm free to use the fucking restroom. I got my ticket and 15 warning for driving with too dark of a tint. I don't know if you're telling me to stop driving or stop being black. I let the incident linger 3 traffic lights before I shrug it off. I let her be mad at the only person in the car that could hear her. I held her hand because at this moment, I forget. I let go. And I remember. She lets go. The rest of what was bothering her. She lets go. The light is green. I stop. She gets out. Both eyes are blinking. Hazard lights. I slide closer to the driver door. I reposition. I lean. I grip the steering wheel. I'm holding on to my wheel. I'm holding on to something. I'm holding in everything. I let go.
That's me trying to be a poet.
No, you did that shit.
Yo, the poet. We got our boy Jay.
What's good?
Back on the show.
How y'all doing?
He just laid down his poem on the way to the concert.
Yeah, on the way to the concert, she asks.
Yeah. So, I mean, one common thread I heard going through the poem was, obviously there's the heartbreak, there's the getting pulled over, but we were talking a little bit earlier about the lack of control, of the situation. And I feel like oftentimes when people lose control or feel like they're losing control of the situation, in this you kind of you held it in, but in other situations I feel like people will they lash out, like they'll do something, they'll act out of character just to feel like they have a semblance of control. And I don't know, what do you think about like
Kept your composure.
Yeah, no, exactly what you said. It's like there's certain moments in your life where you're not allowed to lash out. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes it's just not worth it. And for the duality of it, it's like, all right, it's not worth it for me to get mad at this girl. She already made up her mind. Mm-hmm. It's not my job to convince you I'm better than what I am. And it's the same way with the police. Mm-hmm. You made up your mind when you pulled me over for not doing nothing. There's nothing I can do. I'm not about to argue this. I know it is what it is. I'm gonna deal with it after it's all said and done.
The silence, though. The silence, I feel like is so trash. It's like the worst possible thing. It's almost like, you have to not play the guessing game, but just, there's no closure in silence, I don't think.
Oh yeah, but
at least that's how I kind of see it.
I don't know. When it comes to as you mentioned, choices and decisions,
mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, there's not much you can really do about someone else's choice,
right?
Or
True,
or feelings or anything like that. As you said, mine was made up already. I feel like that's why in mind control is such a like a big and cool power to have in like movies, or they make it kind of seem like that, or you're a villain, because there's nothing more that people would want to do than having them make the right decision to you, like in your view. It's like you would always like, why didn't you do this when it's like they had they're somewhere else, and that's rough. I mean, look at like cops and everything, right? You're not gonna really have a police officer understand. I mean, maybe some do, but like some regular cop, like
probably not,
like Black Lives Matter stuff, or have it in such a way where they won't see it as like you're trying to attack me, like it's me personally, and and it's like it's so tough. I mean,
Yeah, you feel like it's like a weakness of not being composed.
yeah,
It's like you feel like you have to be composed no matter where you are, and that kind of goes into like, I don't know if you guys feel like you nonchalant people, but that's how I feel. I'm like, all right, ain't nothing bigger than what I can handle.
yeah.
So like I try to go in any situation like that, and it can be a downfall. It's just like, all right, you can stick up for yourself in these situations, but it's like, it's even worth it. And it's like through that, it's just learning like how to communicate. It's like, obviously I compared both of those two situations together, but they don't weigh the same.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you should really tell her how you feel about this.
Picking your battles.
Exactly. It's like, no, you trying to wait until they're gone so you can have your moment to yourself. Versus like, no, these are your moments that you're having with them, but you're gonna still be quiet. And it's just like, as you can tell in the poem, it's like, I don't say anything unless I'm asked something.
Yeah.
There's no me free talking to nobody. It's like if someone's asking me something, then I ask, and it's just like it's one of those conversations I have with like the bros a lot. It's like, I feel like for me, like the women always asking questions like, why don't you talk to me? Why don't you say this? Why don't you say that? And we all our response is always, you don't ask the right questions or whatever. It's like there's no free dialogue. It's like, I don't want to tell you something you're not interested in or anything like that. So for me, it's like, I'm only gonna talk when I'm being spoken to. So it's the same way how I deal with the police. It's like, there's nothing you don't already assume about me already. So I'm just gonna give you what you're asking for and nothing else.
Not trying to offer up any like
No, exactly.
free info for nothing.
Now,
I'm like that too.
so you're on your way to the concert. What like concert was it?
I'm on my way to motherfucking Earth Gang in real life.
Yeah.
We cool now, so I love you, girl.
Yeah.
But we on our way to Earth Gang concert, and I'm just like, I'm hyped, and I'm gonna tell the story how it really went.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm hyped. I'm trying to so I buy these tickets a couple months in advance, and Earth Gang wasn't that popular at the time, so I'm just like, it's a little like $20-$30 a ticket. But I'm like, you gotta buy it early enough to get it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. You sure you want to go? Yeah, I'm sure I want to go. All right, cool. You listen to him yet? Nah, not really. All right, that's a month past, 2 months past. I'm asking the same questions, follow. Because I'm like, if you don't want to go, I'll offer you first because, we together. So I'm offering you first. But if you don't want to go, I can find somebody else who want to go more than you. So I'm like, all right, you wait till 10 minutes before the concert to be like, yeah, nah. I don't really want to go, and not only do I not want to go, I don't want to go with you. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn.
What the fuck? Like, this the whole vibe of the car?
Yeah.
I'm like,
This is 10 minutes right before
like this is 10 minutes before we ride to the concert. So I'm like, oh shit.
Damn.
I can't take you home. I mean, you can obviously catch an Uber, but like, I can't take you home. So it's part of the poem. Feel like it's just shit that you gotta power through because you're already on the trajectory where you're going.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I just want to make it out safe from the police.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna just sit here. I still want to go to the concert. I'm not about to go out my way to make you feel like you already made me feel weird.
I mean, at this point, you're probably like,
Yeah,
5
exactly.
minutes
I'm
away.
like,
That's pretty close.
yeah, we here. So the police part don't happen this day, right? So we get to the concert. We like, don't nobody enjoy the concert. Like, mind you, we in some cool ass seats, and Ari Lennox is like 3 rows ahead, and like a couple seats to the left. So I'm just like, fuck, Ari is sitting right in front of me.
Damn.
And you fucked this up. And I'm like, you didn't fuck this up enough for me to be like, oh, no, that's Ari.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still like, oh, that's Ari. But I'm like, your ass.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, it's already.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm okay. I'm slightly decent.
Yeah.
That's already there. But I'm just mad, because the announcer just like, if you came here with your best friend or you came here with your girl, make some noise. I'm quiet. I'm just, I'm looking at her quiet.
Oh, my heart, bro.
I came here with who?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a drink.
Yeah.
Aren't you driving? Yep. Yep, I am. I'm driving. I don't care.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. And damn. It would have been different if, she told you guys right before you left. Because at the very least.
Left her ass home.
Yeah, at the very least, you could have stayed at home. But, this thing that you feel like you already have agency for, like we're going to this concert. And then 10 minutes before you get to the venue, she drops that on you. And then there's all this weird energy. Like, at this point.
I ruin it for the both.
Yeah.
Concerts are just vibes. That's it. They're the vibes.
And, like, the only thing you had control of right before that moment, like, was kind of, like, gone. It's like, now I don't have control of who I'm even going to this concert with. I don't have control over, like, I could try to enjoy it, but, like, it's been kind of tainted, with all your, like, stank that's radiating over there. I'm trying to. Ari Lennox and Earthgate, like, how many people came out? Was it, like, all of, like, Dreamboat?
So many people came out.
I mean, like...
Motherfucking, who came out? I know Buddy came out. I feel like Saba came out.
Damn. All that for 30.
Who else came out?
And she's still sitting here just...
Yeah, I'm just like...
You look over and it's still like head bobs though. It had to have been like just like
angry head bobs.
whatever.
It's like...
Like, you don't gotta be here for real. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
you really... The drive home was weird.
Oh, yeah?
It's weird.
Well,
I'm too much of a good person. I was like, yeah. But the inner nigga in me was like, I'm about to drive fast. Like, whatever toxic tweet you ever seen, like, you gotta keep the straight face when he driving crazy. Yup. Yeah, look out the window. Bop, hit your head on the window. Yup. I'm turning like that. Bop, yup. Yup. It's cool. You don't even gotta woo. Silent ride home. On fucking repeat. Play that shit like 4 times. I'm like, y'all, you gonna know the lyrics by the end of this shit. It's gonna be your most hated song. You gonna hate this fucking song.
Would you describe yourself as petty, or you think that it was kind of deserved?
That was deserved.
I think so too.
I feel like my levels of petty ain't where it should be.
I'm just imagining, like, her hearing it after, like, the second time it's ending, and it's like, all right, cool, and then it comes back on again.
Yeah.
It's like, he's still playing it.
This is my car.
He's gonna play it the entire time, but y'all not talking, so it's like,
There's no words. No words. You wanna be friends? Fuck friends. The fuck?
Not this upon yourself.
Bro,
The fifth list is like, oh my god.
my friend wouldn't have fucked up this concert.
I wouldn't.
Man,
Damn.
that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, on repeat.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, like, another thing we were talking about is how, honestly, when you woke up that morning, pretty good day it was about to be.
Yeah, it was lit.
I'm about to see everything.
See Hurricane, probably give me some pussy.
As the
Pooh nanny.
And then, then things switch,
Yeah.
to like kind of bad day. And then in the poem, this
poem.
same day that get pulled over and everything like that. And it just goes from bad to worse to like all right, since now we're at the Earth Gang concert, but like could have been really bad back there.
I mean, how'd you kind of save? Like, how'd you recover? Not recover, but like, how'd you try to stay above water in terms of like saving that? Because it's like good day turns to bad. Did you try to like bring yourself up in any way, or did you just kind of just like, you know what I'm saying, like let it not fester, but like just like pass, Because sometimes if a situation goes shitty for me, I try to cheer myself up, I try to remedy the situation, or I just sit in it and like let it pass because I know it's gonna pass eventually. Like, how did you kind of deal with it though?
Like for me, I try to like really trust my feelings. So if I'm feeling something, I know it's gonna take me twice as much work to fake it and then actually feel it later. So I got to deal with it twice. I really just deal with it once. So I'm not going to like overly soak in it, but I'm just going like, okay, this shit suck. All right, she out the car. Let me stop driving fast.
Yeah.
Let me go on a actual silent ride. So ain't no music. I'm just kind of like thinking to myself. I'm like, all right.
Silent ride.
I'm like, let me go to the beach. Like I know it's night, but like the sound of the ocean always make me feel like calm. So I'm like, all right. So like, let me go to the beach. Let me just kind of think to myself and be like, okay. Cause you know it's as bad as it is, right? Mm-hmm. As bad as the situation is, you know you still play a part in it. Like as terrible as the timing is, you still got to reflect on what you did as a person. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, let me. I'm not necessarily trying to see it from your side because that shit was fucked up. So I'm just like, all right, it's bad timing, but did I want it to break up anyway? Mm-hmm. Most likely, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's not a one person type thing. It's just, it takes two to tango. It was one of those situations where you already made plans with somebody and you committed to the plan more than you didn't committed to the person. And I'm like, okay, I'm really, like, you ever was like, oh, your birthday coming up, I don't want to break up with you before your birthday because I don't want to fuck up that. So it was one of those situations, and I'm like, okay, let me be a real person about this, because those moments usually make or break some shit. Yeah. It's like, I feel like for me, like a lot of times shit happens, it's like, I'm not about to do this after this. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I might as well just do it now. And I feel like that's where she was at. She was like, all right, can I have one more good moment with you and let this be the best good moment? Or do I be like, we faking this already anyway, so let's just stop faking it and let's be real. Let's start today.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like rubber hits the road, or fork in the
road kind of situation.
It's never too late.
As fuck.
To be real. Okay. It's never too late. If you want to start today, you can start today. Be real. Be real. That's all you need. Be real today. And you'll avoid bad days. I mean, sometimes. I don't know. Like, not all the time. Hey.
Because you can take a look. It's in the book. It's reading rainbow.
Let's go.
Fucking callbacks.
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo, bro, tell us about that real quick.
Okay, so this is Lessons on Repeat. This is really my baby for real. It took like 2 years, 2 poetry classes, a lot of college manipulation to get through it. So I definitely like used like both my professors to be like, can you read these poems for me and see if they good or not? And then it was a lot of like, nah, these poems kind of ass. And they weren't lying. Like, them poems were fucking trash. Yeah. Like, only like 3 or 4 of them poems made it into this actual final copy of this book. Wow. And then, so I took intro to poetry class, and then I took advanced poetry class, and then she was like, only like half these poems. And those have to made it in the book. Nice. So I'm like, no, they know what you're talking about. Yeah. And just don't be sensitive about it. Yeah. It's like, that's what you came here for. You came for honest criticism. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was given. And I was just like, all right, it's perfect. So I used those like workshop classes. Mm-hmm. So in poetry class, you do workshops. So I workshop a bunch of poems. Nice. Also got a bunch of feedback on my books and everything. So like by the time I was done with all my poetry classes, I had a book. Wow. And I was like, wow. That was really my main reason to take poetry classes, because like I already did poetry for the most part, but I was like, I can't really write it in a way in which like I want to convey it. So I was like, I need some structure. I need a way in which it sounds as good on paper as it does if I say it in person at like a spoken word type event. And I was like, okay, this is cool. But yeah, 2 years, a lot of poems, a lot of trial and error, a lot of open mics of just kind of feeling for it. Yeah. That's dope, man. That's dope, man. It kind of travels through like adolescence, and then it goes to like adulthood, kind of makes its way to probably the end of my first relationship, I think.
Damn, bro. That's sick. Tell them where they can find it really fast.
Oh, you can find this on Amazon if you search my real name. It'd be J. Sean McWilliams. I should have just put a poetry name, but fuck it. Real name, long, 19 letters. Kindergarten was hard as fuck. Lessons on Repeat. Find on Amazon.
For sure. All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, shoot. It's the boy. All right.
How y'all doing? I'm Jay. I be writing poetry and shit. I get my heart broken a lot. But fuck all them. Love you. Another non-date with a beautiful woman. She slowed down the conversation, gave it a heartbeat, dug up time capsules to talk about love. There was nothing still living from these time periods. Reminisced on relics. I was like, so, what's your type? She said, dinosaurs. So, men that are unable to change with the time. No, tall. I told her, on skates, I'm 6'2". She says, and he has to be funny. I said, on skates, I'm 6'2". She plays the Uno reverse card. I don't know why I'm so unprepared to answer a question I asked. I mumbled, skip. She said, boy, you started this game. Now you gonna play. I told her I fall in love with black women who wear glasses. She smiles and pushes up hers. I promise it's not a requirement for them to be blind. I guess it's easier for them to fall in love with me. They're not too focused on what I look like. They usually have scoliosis. She has this confused look on her face. I was partially joking. She tells me she has scoliosis. I promise I did not know your doctor. I let her take the lead from walking the park to the La Brea tar pits, petrified and stuck in a place hoping to survive. The parallels between the mammoth stuck in the tar and us. Being stuck in our career paths, my desire to be fulfilled and her desire to be more than stable. Security. Guards are used to keep us in place. We've reached trauma. I told her, I know we just got here, but you don't have to stay if you don't want to. She opens the door, mentions houses with upstairs, but no second stories. Attics with baggage. Needles without music. Broken records. It was my turn, and I pulled out a wild card and talked about accents. I told her I like hers. She looks confused. Again. She said, I don't have an accent, but what do I sound like? And you bet not say white. No, you sound like the perfect amount of sweet. A yellow cake with chocolate frosting. If you can go anywhere in the world, where would you go? We both said London. She said, wow, you love to travel around a subject, and just for that, you can draw 2 on trauma. Senior year, teacher says, you don't do any of your homework. How am I supposed to do homework without a home, sir? Grad night was at Six Flags. I couldn't afford the flag. I surrendered 1 white flag. I couldn't afford to go to college. I panicked and became a mammoth for 3 years. You said draw 2, right? I brought up my son's mother and my need to connect with women intimately without the use of physical touch. She made me change my love language. Heartbreak touched me inappropriately. Made quality time more important. To love a woman as a person and not define love as a woman. So there'll be nothing she can take from me if I lose her. We've reached healing. She has a therapist. The idea of that is almost as beautiful as she is. She recommends a book about vulnerability. Happily showed the rest of her hand. I talked about my boundaries and happily didn't show mine. Her feet were tired. Sure, her scoliosis didn't appreciate all the walking we did. We sat at a bench. I told her I'd draw, but not conclusions. I asked her did she enjoy herself. She said, was the 6 hours we spent together not a good enough identifier? I finally ran out of words, hoping this isn't the last time I walk you back to your car. So, friends.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, fuck did it.
All right, let's get it. Yeah. So we're back. Jay, tell us a little bit. Well, tell us what the name of your poem was, and tell us a little bit about the poem and how you kind of put it together.
Got you. Is another non-date with a beautiful woman. So the title is really what it is. It's you go on these outings, as my homegirls like to say, because they like to call them dates, and I'm like, no, there's a separation in what I'm doing. It's not a date. We're going out and we're hanging out and we're friends, or we're trying to figure out if we're going to be friends, and it's a platonic energy. You gonna pay for your own shit. And that's really like how I feel about it. It's like you're gonna pay for it, but it's not like a thing like I'm making you or I'm saying you pay for yours. You know instinctively to pay for your own stuff because you know we're mutually benefiting from the situation. So exactly. So I just wanted to do a poem where I feel like it feels like a love poem, but it's not a love poem. It's like we're going out and we're having all this good time, but it's just me and a potential friend. And it's like those can sound just as good as a love poem if you write it right. But I feel like people say you can't write things that are happy, and I'm like, nah, you're just not trying hard enough.
So you weren't thinking of writing this as a love poem? Did you take like? Did you kind of write it with other love poems in mind, trying to avoid that, or you try to just do it naturally?
I feel like I tried to do it naturally. Like whatever came. Like it definitely is not supposed to be a love poem, or it's just not supposed to feel like it. But I throw little love jabs in there for you to feel like, oh no, he's saying some shit in there. But you can take it as like, no, this is just like playful flirting if that's what you want to call it. And I was like, I feel like you do that with friends anyway. It's like, all right, we're gonna have this conversation that we always have, but I'm gonna be a little flirty with it. But at the end of the day, I'm not crossing any lines. Like whatever your boundaries are, I'm gonna follow through with them. And I feel like that was a big lesson that I learned in life in general. And just like, well, you choose to be vulnerable with a person, but you also should choose your boundaries with a person. So it's like I like personally to get all the stuff out the way first. So like if you like me or if you don't like me or if you're interested, if you're not interested, exactly. So it's like, because I would hate for the fact to be that, hey, I do actually like you, but later on I'll tell you later, and then you think everything I did that was nice to you or as a good person, you take it as I just wanted something from you. It's like, no, my actions are my actions. So like, I'd rather you believe me versus like think everything was for like a motive. And like, there's no motive. It's like we hanging out, we chilling, we having a good vibe. And let's just know from the jump it is what it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's especially with you're going in with, we don't know what this is going to be, but what I do know what this is as you mentioned, like we're going out, gonna get food, we're gonna hang out, and especially if this is like your first meeting with this person, sometimes those flirting kind of things, it's just I'm seeing where you're at. I'm gonna say, how are you gonna respond to this? Obviously, you never want to be like creepy with it, but like, we're still having fun. We're here to have fun. And how are you going to react to this fun? And then that's where it really sets the tone for everything else. It's like, where is this the path that we're gonna follow? Or not.
I see it's like honesty, be like, having your intentions on the table off rip. You ever had like somebody react negatively to you being honest, like in that space, like, when you first meet someone or go out with someone or whatever case may be, it's like, you think ever that they ever reacted like, off by that or no?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like I feel like expectations.
It's a lot. I don't know, but it's like I feel like that is more appreciated by people. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird if they're just like, why is he being so real right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like people who like to operate in a gray area, but like strong gray area, like I believe you can, but it's just like some things should just be said. Like they say what's understood don't need to be said, but like a lot of shit need to be said. A lot of people just walk around confused, and I'm like, if I eliminate that way I just stop the expectations. Like expectations really fuck up everything for me. It's like if I'm expecting more out of the situation than what it is, I will fuck up this whatever we got going on. If I don't think nothing else is gonna happen from this other than like us chilling, then we're gonna have a great day, because that's all I'm expecting is for us to chill for the most part. So going back to your question, it's just like I've had it happen, and I'm like, oh, am I being too real? Because I was just being honest. You told me to be honest,
Right.
And like I'm working exactly.
gets in the way of that.
Cause that's what, like, in my situation, it was like, you asked for this. Like, you asked for me to be honest with you. Like you said, pussyfoot, or I wasn't being too deliberate about my actions. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be deliberate. I want X, Y, Z from you. Do you fuck with that? And it's like, no, I don't fuck with that. But then, okay, then we shouldn't be kicking it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no. Well, like, what's the no at? Like, I'm confused. Like you said let's be deliberate. So now I'm being deliberate. Now you confused about me being deliberate. I'm like, so you just wanted to operate in the area in which you like, okay, I think he kind of like me.
Yeah, no.
But he don't want nothing. So, like, nah, but if I tell you that I want something, then what?
Right.
Then it's like, okay, then no, then we should stop.
Right.
Like, because I obviously want more.
And I feel like that the people that like to operate in that gray area, they love the mystery. It excites them for what it could be, what it might be, as opposed to what it is. Then sometimes when you pop that bubble of illusion, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm not, because it ruins the ending of the movie for them. Like, it's like, I wanted to find out what it was, while at the same time asking, like, you don't ever talk to me. You don't ever. It's like, the reason why, like, that person probably had problems because you were talking to them, but not the way that they were hoping the movie was gonna go.
There's a balance though, for sure.
No, there's for sure a balance. And
Like not giving all the sauce up or whatever the case is. It's like there's definitely, but it's like
it could be fun. It could be fun.
And that's how it generally is, I think. But it's just like, having the wherewithal to have that, like, whatever is going to be a problem, perhaps like later, just getting it out of the way early. It's always better.
Yeah, 100%.
Always better. Just like intention wise for both parties, I feel like.
And even if it hurts in the moment, like it's at the end of the day, it's usually for the best, because it's like it's like, I told you what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I'm looking for. They did not want to look. If they wanted to fake it and be like, oh yeah, for sure, both of you guys are gonna have a terrible time.
You don't realize how selfish people are.
Yeah.
Like, they like to operate in that, like, little gray area just because, like, they know they want to keep you in a certain box, and your energy is something that they crave or something that they want or something they have value of. They know if they don't have you in this certain light, they're not going to have you at all. And I'm like, so if I eliminate this little bubble that you want to keep us in, then you're just going to be upset. But you don't want this to be any more than what it is. And I'm like, I'm not going to be like your personal little gas station. Like, I'm fine. Like, you're good. Like, you can find your gas for somebody that you appreciate it from. Like, I'm not going to be your refill station every time you feel down about yourself. Yep. Or whatever it is. Like,
that's so much, like, yeah, dude, I'm with you. I'm just going to reiterate what you're saying. Just like, it's draining.
And I feel like, on the flip side, sometimes it's important to identify when you are the person that's like, because sometimes it's like, when you're at a certain point of like your self-awareness, your emotional development or anything like that, you are just looking for things that make you feel good, at the end of the day, whether it's drugs, whether it's a hobby, whether it's people. Because sometimes, like, people do that to people, and then, like, they're like, I like, there's something about this person I like. I don't want them to, like, I kind of like what I'm getting from there, and I don't want, but then, chase you with the, what are we doing? What is this? In some situations, it's like, bro, we're chilling. In other situations, it's like, they'll be like, hey, like, this is what I want from you. I can tell that you don't want it, but I want it. This can't work, but we're still doing it. Yeah. And it's just like, sure, for them, it's like, maybe let's get out of here. But also for you, like, once you identify as like, okay, I want something that this person really, no, this other person wants something that I really don't want. I'm still getting something from the situation. Do I leave out of respect? Or do I allow them to keep doing what they're doing because it's benefiting me? Kind of to what you're saying about how selfish people are.
Yeah, people want communication until it's communicated that they don't like what you like. And it's just like, all right, cool. But it's like, all right, you want me to communicate with you, but you communicate poorly. Or it's one of those situations where people who don't know how to communicate, they start ghosting you. But like, it's a tactic. It's like, I'm going to ghost you just enough for you to not understand what's going on, but for me to like stop you from doing whatever. I'm not communicating with you. I'm like, that's weird. So I'm gonna put enough space in between that, and then I'm gonna come back when I feel like I'm okay, whatever amount of energy you're gonna give me. It's like, all right, if I feel like you're doing too much, I'm gonna ghost you and I'm gonna come back. And I'm gonna keep doing that without talking to you. And I'm like, oh, you childish.
You bring it up, and then just like a whatever thing. It's like, we're both here. Like, we both, we experiencing this shit together. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? Damn. Hey, could you break down, well, what are some of your favorite lines in this poem? And like, could you break some of them down for us?
Yeah, I got some. Let me pull it out real quick. If y'all got some lines y'all can think of on top of your head while I go look. Okay.
I mean, I know it was, you know, but
all right, so one of my favorite lines is one of those lines in the beginning where it goes like, we dug up time capsules to talk about love. There was nothing still living from these time periods. We reminisced on relics. So I feel like it's an interesting way to say we talked about our previous love lives, but in a way that it didn't feel like I was complaining about it. We just kind of talked about everything that we gained from it. And then if we lost something, it doesn't really matter. And there's nothing still living from these time periods. So there's nothing still going on. So I'm okay with digging up something that's already dead, because it's not about to come back to life and like scare us or whatever it is.
Like, you know, I just want to know what you've been through, like where, like, I want to let you know what I've been through, you know, type thing. You know?
If you're like, you know, if you have the emotional intelligence to kind of go through it, talking about it without it being like a thing.
Yeah, and it's also very important to see how you reflect on your past relationships.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's like,
true.
whether you feel like you was the victim or you feel like you was the antagonist or whatever you feel like your role was in it, whatever you look at it as, it sees how much you've healed from it.
Yeah.
So if you talk about it in retrospect, you just be like, it is what it was, and we did this and I did this and I'm okay with whatever happened. I learned from it. Now I know you like a healed person.
Yeah.
You defined your own closure. You got closure. If you talk about like, no, this motherfucker was a bitch, yada yada yada. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm missing, so there's something.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you still upset. Yeah, you upset.
Wow.
You was allergic to peanuts and he gave you nothing but peanut butter. You mad. He almost killed you.
Yeah, no,
Those weren't the nuts you were looking for. I'm sorry.
That's really funny. No, but yeah, no, it's like it's critical information. You know, it's because you know, it's really all about framing, like the stories you tell about your life, the stories you tell about yourself. It goes to show, like, not only how you've healed, but how you view yourself, and what is the internal narrative you walk around concerning yourself. You know, because that could reveal
Distorted.
Yeah, it could reveal all you might need to know about, like, kind of this person, you know. It just depending on just how they talk about it, you know. Yeah, like, as you said, oh, that person's a bitch, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, but, like, you know, there's rarely just one person in a relationship, you know. Now, in reality, it could have been like, yeah, no, he was for sure a bitch, actually. Like, that was, like, pretty shitty. But then sometimes it's like, I would love to know if there was, like, where were you at, you know? And then, yeah, man, that's, I think one of my favorite lines, and this goes into more like just how you write, the where do you? What was it like? Where do you like to travel or something like that?
Yeah.
And then you said London.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, like I don't remember what the subject was that you guys were originally talking about.
Oh, if you can go any place in the world, what would it be? And we both said London. She said, "Wow, you love to travel around a subject."
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like that delicate balance of when you're having fun and flirting, where it's like it's a dance, it's a push, it's a pull, there's tension, there's a release, and that's when it becomes fun. Whether it's like with a person that you're hanging out with for the first time, or potential love interest, or both, and that's kind of like really the moments where you're like, wow, I fucks with you. Even like, have you guys ever you start on a new job and you meet like a coworker on there at that job, and you guys are talking, and you realize like, oh, this dude is cool. Like I mess with you. You're a dope dude.
Those favorite moments usually come by like, oh, you don't really fuck with this place like that either.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you don't take this shit as serious as everybody else.
Yep.
You oh, cool. Like I feel like it's always that moment. It's like, oh, you understand life, and that's how it is when it comes to like relationships and meeting new people. It's like, as long as you understand like all this shit bullshit, and you understand it, but you do what you gotta do. Okay, we fuck with each other.
Catch them in
I
the
rock
back
with you.
room. It's like,
exactly.
Haven't you been on your 10 for like 15 minutes? It's like, I'm still on the clock, baby. It's like
10s or 25s around here.
Okay.
We only shit on company time. It's the only time you allow the shit. Did you use your break to shit? No, go do it again.
Yeah.
Go do that didn't count. Your break don't start till you got your food in your mouth.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say it don't start till you sit down. It don't start till you got your food in your mouth.
Out the microwave, you sit down, you wait for it to cool.
And if your boss asks you a question while you're on break, start over.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're on your break, but it's like, all right, well, that's all
it's
you
not your time. It's not your time.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah,
What can I help you with?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't getting up from this chair though.
Dude, that poem, is it about to be like, what are your plans for it? You have like maybe a part two.
You feel me? So so that's definitely going on the second book. So we definitely gonna do Lessons on Repeat Part 2. I'm thinking about making it a trilogy type thing. So that's definitely like whatever feels like in the middle. And then Lessons on Part 3 gonna be the last one, but I'm really focused on that second one. So it's really gonna be
when can we expect that?
April 2022.
Okay, hey.
Yeah.
Just drop the fucking exclusive.
That's the date. That's the date.
Kill the Poet information. Hey, it's been another episode of Kill the Poet. Thanks for tuning in. Find us at Kill the Poet on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at Young Toledo. Where can they find you?
Remember, if you're not tall enough, wear skates. You can catch me at that dude Jay on Instagram and everything else.
Where can you find this guy? Young Kolokai.
Kolokai backwards everywhere.
Woo! We with the shit.